is concerned. In fact, a road has caved in and rescue workers have been trapped. Workers trapped since 3 days. In fact, they've been trapped inside a 50 feet deep pit. As far as the rescue operations are concerned, what we do know is that earlier efforts to pump water out failed and trapped workers are yet to be rescued. So what we do know is that even 3 days after, 2 people got trapped in a container office inside a 50 feet trench, now filled with water. We are learning that rescue operations, as well as far as this is concerned, is continuing. We do know this has been reported from Velachery. In fact, what we do know as far as this entire situation is concerned, that initial investigation revealed that despite the cyclone warning and an advisory from the government, as far as this entire structure is concerned, the private contractor asked workers to report for duty at their under construction site. Remember, the past couple of days, the situation on ground as far as Chennai having the impact of the cyclone Migjong is concerned, and in the view of the same, we do know that the road caved in, and which is what led to rescue workers being trapped inside here. In fact, they have been trapped since 3 days. This is a 50 feet deep pit. Beg your pardon. Let me go across to Neha, getting us the latest on that front. Neha, we do know that these workers are trapped and yet to be rescued. Tell us the latest as far as these rescue operations are concerned. Has it been quite a challenge? We do understand that the NDRF team was also roped in, but efforts clearly to rescue them have failed so far.
Well, that's right. In fact, on the day that Cyclone Migjong struck Chennai, we saw several, people, in fact, suffering. But this happens to be the most unfortunate situation here, where 2 workers reportedly, of course, now are being reported dead after they fell into a trench. Remember, they were standing on a container vehicle. The road on which the vehicle was standing, in fact, caved in, following which that entire container vehicle itself has fallen into this very pit here. My video journalist Manish, in fact, will of course try and give you a sense of what this pit is like, what are the operations that are happening inside. In fact, you can still see that there are teams right now of the NDRF, that are currently here at this point in time, that are carrying out their, search and rescue operations. Remember, these 2 people could be anywhere in this trench. And just to give you perspective, since the police here has, covered up this entire area, to an extent where possibly nothing really is visible. This trench beyond this green cover that you see is nearly about 50 feet deep. Now, this was a pit that was dug up for the construction of some buildings over here. And having said that, while efforts have been put to send in scuba divers of the teams of the NDRF, on day 1 it was very muddy is what we were being told, and which is why the visibility was very little. Nothing much could have been done. Families of these 2 workers were stranded inside this pit right now, possibly, of course, being said to be dead right now is what we are told. Families of these workers are on strike here, demanding that the administration expedite this search and rescue process. Well, even as all efforts are being put in right now, the fact is that, this was a natural calamity. It's unfortunate the manner in which, in fact, this has happened. But we'll, of course, keep a close eye on this to see as to when things tend to get a little better. The biggest challenge that is being posed right now is the fact that there was a lot of water that was stagnated in this pit almost to a height of nearly about 50 feet. That's how deep that trench is. And even now, as we're trying to in fact bring you all of these visuals of the search that is going on, there are efforts that are on to try and pump out this water first. And once the water is, of course, pumped out to a good extent, there will be some more visibility, and then is when of course they would be able to try and possibly pull out the bodies of these 2 workers. Very unfortunate. We are to talk about their families here. In fact, 2 of these workers here, the mother of one of the workers here has, of course, gone on to say that it's just unfair that they were called to work on a day like this. Remember that 4th, in fact, of course, was a day that was rather devastating over here. We saw the manner in which the entire city, was, of course, washed away quite literally. And at a time like this, we're, of course, going on to see that the families are angry. It's not right, is what they say, for anyone to have been called into work on that given day. But they continue to sit here on strike. They've not eaten food now for nearly 4 days. And, of course, even as the situation prevails here, devastation. We've seen several politicians, of course, from the government, from the opposition, from various parties coming down here, meeting them,
Right, Neha.
promising them that the best efforts are on.
Right,
but
Neha.
there's evidently been no sort of, respite for the families. We'll, of course, really have to wait and see as to when things get a little better here in the city of Chennai. And, of course, we'll bring you all of the latest on that.